Hello, welcome to Art 17 again, and we're in week 9. We're going to talk about number 16, number 17, and the homework all in one video. So all of week 9 will be one video. This one I'm making now. Let's talk about animal in foreshortening. So it's a drawing of an animal in foreshortening. I'll show you what that means. That's not what it means. This is more the idea. So it's basically where part of the animal is closer to you than the rest of it, and so it looks and appears to be larger than normal, like this dog nose. And anytime you get up close to a dog and look at its nose, with the eyes and head behind, the eyes and head and behind are going to seem to be smaller or less big than the nose is. Of course, if you backed off and looked at it, it would look a little different. Of course, this is right up close to you. Now, this works with a lot of different subject matter, not just dogs or animals in particular. But here's a lot of dog ideas where, because their nose extends, most dogs anyway, a lot of dogs, that the nose is very large looking at the end when the head is kind of back here and appears to be smaller. That's foreshortening. That's what it means to. And this is not a great uh, drawing for this class because it's not shaded, but it's it's more of a digital anyway. But the giraffe, very tall neck, body's way down here, looks small, and the head is very big. That would be an example of foreshortening. Same with this one, where the body's way down here, right? And then the neck, you can't even really see how the neck comes up, but it comes up and there's a little bit of converging lines right there coming up to meet the head, which is now much larger in appearance than the rest of the animal. This goes with cat paws too. Cat paws extended out, and then the head looks smaller than the paw because the paw is so close to you. Okay, so this is how you're going to perceive this, where part of the animal is closer to you than the rest of it, and so you draw that part that's closest to you larger than the rest of the animal. I'm not really showing any more real great examples of that, but the paw was a good one. Here's a dog laying down with his nose close to you. Here's a deer with his nose closer to you, her or his or her, and the rest of it kind of tapers back into this smaller size. And that's going to create the illusion of depth, for one thing, because this is behind and further away than this. And you're getting that all accomplished by how you're drawing this larger than the rest of the animal, tapering back to the head size, to the neck, to the body. All right, so that's basically it. You'd find out what your subject matter is going to be. I think this is a giraffe again with the tongue extended. Eyes back here, neck is looking smaller because it's draping back and down from the head. Okay, so, and here's a dog with a ball in his mouth. Pretty cool idea. The eyes here, you can barely see them because, the big nose and mouth and ball are all in front, and then the head's sort of back here a little bit. So you can use these for models of doing dogs. If you want to do a dog, you want to do your dog, then take a photo of it like that, where it's foreshortened, where the dog's nose is close to you. Maybe with a ball in the mouth, that's fine too. But you have to work from something like that, where it's going to represent that perspective. Okay, here's a horse with his nose is closer to you. So it's going to be noses or paws, maybe even the tail. I can't find one with the tail's like closer to you and the cat is like further away, or the dog. is further away. If you want to make that up, that's fine. Here's donkey, same idea. And other donkeys, same idea. Okay, so let's move on from this. I think you understand what this is about. Any questions, email me and I'll answer them. Let's go back and see the second assignment this week. Number 17 is a personal logo or a name and design. I'll show you two different ways to do that. Excuse me. So here's your name and design type of idea, where it could have patterns and designs in the back, and then the name, or the name could connect with patterns and designs. This is a good one to actually maybe use color on. If you have some paints or colored pencils, pastels, then try coloring, okay? Plenty of ideas. This is Bing, or you can go to Google if you want. I prefer Bing. You can put things in here that mean something to you, and connect your name to it in some artistic, creative way. Now, you come up with your own idea based on these, maybe, as a reference, okay? There's plenty of ideas in here, just tons. This one's using a lot of animal-looking characters or cartoony guys and stuff. Whatever means something to you, maybe you want to do it with a few different meanings in there, something that's relating to you in some other way, or maybe not, just something very collagey, but your name must be in there somewhere. Now, logos are not as creative in my opinion, but you could do a name logo if you want. And these are a little more boring in my opinion. This is pretty cool. That's like a horse and stuff. Some of this looks like graffiti. Some of this is very minimal, which is like, but put a design into it. Don't just put two letters and go, oh, there it is. There's my logo. I mean, come on. Let's put something to it. Let's get something going here. Not just two letters and that's it. Okay? Because I'm going to say, well, where's the creativity in this? You really got to, it's got to stand out and be kind of unique, right? So you got to think of something. Whoops. And then look at these for maybe some ideas of that. Maybe you put something with the name, whatever your name is going to be, and maybe there's an animal to it or something, or, like this. Maybe you're going to make a logo out of your name with something added to it, like this, or this, or Outcast. Look at this. Of course, that's some other name. I would say make it out of your name, either first or last or both. But I actually think the name designs are more expressive. But these are okay. I mean, for a card or something, card design. Show the name and design drawing again. And you can go in these and click on any of these, and they're going to show you more and more and more and more ideas, okay? Tons of ideas here. Look at this. I think this is more expressive and actually more fun. You decide. I think don't try to go the easy route unless it totally means something better to you, but I think these have more going on than any of the logos. But it can be a name design or logo. All right, I'll open up the door for that. Look at that one. Super cool. Okay, and of course, put shading into your drawing. These all have a light source coming from one direction to the other. It's given it a shape. Even if you're doing something that looks kind of graffiti-ish, there's a light source hitting on part of these. They're actually going back and forth, like the light's coming down center. So this is light here, 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 and then on the other side it's here, here, here. So it's kind of like the light's coming in the center, which is an okay concept for this. But I think you could come up with something very, very unique and very expressive with this one. All right, so that was number 17. Let's talk about the homework, which is light logic, life, something in front of you. Don't make it up. Single light source with cast shadow. So you're going to set it up with a windowed light source and no other light source, no other windows or uh, lamps in the room to shine on the other side. So it's got to be coming from the left or right, and or a single lamp in the room without a window and another lamp. This is one of the more perfect. Whoa, that's not it. What are you doing to me here? This one. Why did that come up like that? That was weird. All right, whatever. Let's look at this. Yeah, I guess there's some ideas in here. Okay, here it is. Whoop. See, this is a good drawing of a ball. So you can do a ball, you can do an apple, or you could do a pear, or you could do an egg, something that's rounded. Has a round surface at some point or another. You can show your light source coming from one direction. In this case, it's coming from the right, the top right, and it's all lit up here with highlights, and it's gradually getting darker and darker and darker as it goes around to the other side. Then you have your reflected light here on the bottom, reflected from the table. The light on the table is going to reflect on that and light it up slightly. It's a good thing because this separates it from the cast shadow. Cast shadow is darker than that area, so they separate. There's a difference. There's an edge. This is all shading, no lines. There's no border line around the ball. There's no border line around the cast shadow. It's all shading, shading, shading that meets other shades. That shade meets this shade meets that shade meets that, and there's no line. You can sketch it out with a thin line, but get rid of it when you start shading. Darken in the shading so you don't see the line. Okay? Let me go back, and let me see if I can put an egg in there and see what happens with that. Oh, that's not right. Let's go back. Let's go way back. Whoa, way back. Let's put egg here and see what happens. Yeah, so here now it's just showing drawings of eggs. This one's actually showing you some of the what their take is on the shadowing, the shading. Here's your reflected light. Here's your darkest area. Here's your highlight from actual light. You got the cast shadow that isn't totally dark here. It's kind of darker underneath, and then it gets a little lighter here. So when you set this up on the table and your paper, notice all that. Could be a baseball too. You want to represent the single light source. You want highlights, midtones getting darker and darker and darker to the other side, and then probably a reflection mark underneath, and then your cast shadow. And it's actually better to actually tone in the background a little too. It brings your subject off the paper. It gives it a more three-dimensional appearance. Let's see what happens with apple. I can really show you one. Well, here, sort of one. I'll provide the video I provided in week 1 for assignment 2, which was talking about shading and light source, and this is basically what this assignment is about. Just basically show This is not working. What are you doing to me? See what that does. Here we go. Apple drawings with light source. Look at this, okay? This is what I'm talking about. You do an apple. Here's all the highlighted area. Here's all the midtones coming in. Here's a highlighted area here where the indentation comes down with the stem. And showing that it's round there, see? It's all rounded. So light is going to hit this round object differently wherever it hits. Right here, it's really picking up the light, and around on the sides, not so much. Getting a little light, less light, a little darker, darker. Back here, very dark. Here's some reflected light under here, or it should probably be as dark as that. Reflected off the table. Light hits the table and comes back onto the fruit, or your ball, or your egg, or whatever it is. Cast shadow typically is not completely dark. Closest to the subject, yes, dark. Then it gets midtones and a little lighter on the edge. Certainly no lines bordering any of this, okay? So don't put lines bordering and then shade it and show those lines, because they're really not there. They're not on the apple. Unless you drew it in with a pin on the apple or on the ball, then it may have a border line right there on the edge. But as it is, no, there's no border line. So it's all shading just as it is. Shades meet other shades, and they get darker and darker, and they maybe meet the background, which is lighter than several parts of this apple, and that's where your edge is without a line. There's no line there. Okay, so look at all these drawings. Go into Bing yourself if you want. Put in apple drawings or egg drawings with light source. Drawings. You got to say drawings, it'll show you photographs. All right, and that will be the homework. Doing your light logic. Like I say, it is actually better to put in a so it doesn't look like it's floating. Certainly a cast shadow, maybe even some smudging around in the background, so that it doesn't have like this one. I'm not particularly fond of this kind of shading, which is like lines, because it looks like a scratchy surface. Try to smooth all that out. I'm just showing it for the background, really, and the surface and the cast shadow. That's pretty good. Is that this one? No, it's another one. Let's see before we get too going here. Oh, this is a good one. They put kind of a little shading line right in the back, which emphasizes the edge, but I don't think it's necessary. That tone would have worked well with that tone without that. This side I don't think has a line. I mean, it's more accurate if it isn't, because if you put your subject out there, you won't see a line, like I said, unless you drew one on your subject. All right, so look for that video and go for the foreshortening first, and then the name design or logo, and then your light logic. All right. We'll talk with you next week. This is all for this week. Any questions, ask, and I will answer. Thank you.